Is belief in God a deep truth or just a psychological need? This video uncovers how faith, science, and the human mind intersect in modern America. If you're searching for meaning in a world of doubt, this exploration will challenge your perspective and help you see belief in a whole new light. Welcome to Cosmic Access. In today's video, we dive into one of humanity's most profound questions. Is belief in God an eternal truth or just a psychological need? Through the lens of American society, science, and spirituality, we uncover powerful insights that will challenge your perspective.
If you're someone who seeks meaning beyond the surface, this video is for you. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe to Cosmic Access for more eye-opening content that explores the mysteries of existence.
In contemporary American society, belief in God has undergone a notable transformation, reflecting deeper cultural, psychological, and technological shifts. While previous generations often inherited religious convictions as part of their identity, today's individuals, especially among younger demographics, approach faith more as a personal choice than a social given. Pew Research shows that the number of religiously unaffiliated Americans has surged, pointing to a broader societal shift often described as the rise of the nones. This change cannot be solely attributed to rebellion against tradition. Rather, it reflects a complex interplay between the individual's search for meaning and a rapidly changing world. Psychologists, such as Dr. Clay Routledge, argue that humans possess an innate desire to find purpose beyond themselves, and belief in God has historically fulfilled that need. However, in a society increasingly shaped by scientific inquiry, digital interconnectedness, and instantaneous access to information, many are reevaluating long-held spiritual assumptions. Social media platforms, while offering spaces for spiritual dialogue, have also amplified skepticism, encouraging a culture of questioning over passive acceptance. Yet, despite these trends, religious traditions persist, offering continuity, community, and moral frameworks in an otherwise fragmented world. The result is a society caught between inherited faith and self-constructed meaning, neither entirely abandoning God nor fully embracing disbelief. This evolving relationship with belief is deeply rooted in America's foundational history, where the pursuit of religious freedom was not only a political ideal, but a lived necessity for early settlers escaping persecution. The vision of the Founding Fathers included a society where no single religious authority could dominate public life, leading to the deliberate separation of church and state. Yet religion remained woven into the very fabric of national identity, manifest in public rituals, presidential speeches, and even currency inscribed with "In God We Trust." Scholars such as Dr. Robert Bellah highlighted this unique synthesis as civil religion, where shared symbols and values gave spiritual character to the American project without binding it to any one creed. Despite increasing secularization, many American communities still turn to faith institutions for moral guidance, social support, and cultural continuity. Religious institutions often double as community centers, especially in rural and underserved urban areas, providing services that go beyond spiritual nourishment. Moreover, religion continues to influence public debates on education, sexuality, and justice, reflecting its deep emotional and ethical roots. While the legal framework ensures neutrality, the cultural reality is far more complex, suggesting that religion, even when challenged, continues to shape the American consciousness in subtle yet profound ways.
Within this complex historical and cultural backdrop, the psychological dimension of belief emerges as a powerful lens through which to understand the persistence of religion in American life. Human beings, as noted by psychologist Viktor Frankl, possess an intrinsic drive to seek meaning, especially in times of uncertainty and suffering. In a world marked by rapid change, social isolation, and existential threats ranging from climate anxiety to economic instability, religion often provides a framework for understanding adversity and maintaining emotional balance. The assurance of a higher power, the promise of an afterlife, and the communal rituals of worship serve as coping mechanisms that restore a sense of control and hope. Clinical studies in the field of positive psychology have found that individuals with a spiritual belief system often report lower levels of anxiety and depression, particularly when faced with grief or trauma. In American society, where the pace of life and pressure for individual achievement can be overwhelming, religion offers not only doctrinal answers, but also psychological sanctuary. Faith communities create spaces for belonging and shared vulnerability, which modern digital connections often fail to provide. Even for those who reject institutional religion, the yearning for transcendence remains, a quiet yet persistent echo of the human mind's desire to make sense of its place in the universe. While religion continues to offer comfort and structure to many, a growing segment of American society seeks to understand belief in God through empirical lenses, particularly neuroscience and psychology. Studies have suggested that certain areas of the brain, such as the temporal lobes, are activated during spiritual experiences, leading researchers like Dr. Andrew Newberg to explore whether religious belief is a cognitive function shaped by evolution. From this perspective, belief in a higher power may not reflect external truth, but rather an adaptive mechanism to manage fear, mortality, and social cohesion. Prominent American atheists such as Sam Harris, Daniel Dennett, and the late Christopher Hitchens argue that religious belief stems not from divine revelation, but from psychological conditioning and cultural inheritance. They assert that morality and meaning can be grounded in reason, empathy, and science rather than faith. These voices have gained traction, particularly among younger Americans, where skepticism is increasingly equated with intellectual maturity. However, even within these circles, there remains an acknowledgement that the emotional and existential needs met by religion are not easily replaced. The tension between scientific reasoning and spiritual longing continues to define a major facet of the modern American consciousness, leaving the question of God open, yet deeply personal.
At the same time, the decline of traditional religious affiliation has not eliminated the deep human impulse to seek something beyond the material. In fact, American society is witnessing a noticeable rise in interest toward spirituality, metaphysics, and non-institutional forms of faith. Philosophers such as Alvin Plantinga argue that belief in God is properly basic, rooted in the very structure of human reason and perception, much like our belief in the external world or other minds. Theological perspectives emphasize that the idea of a transcendent reality is not merely psychological comfort, but a response to the intuitive awareness of something greater than ourselves. This growing spiritual curiosity is evident in the popularity of mindfulness practices, near-death experience accounts, and the integration of Eastern metaphysical ideas into Western lifestyles. Psychologist Carl Jung once suggested that the need for God is a psychological archetype, universal, unavoidable, and essential to the psyche's wholeness.
For many Americans today, especially the younger and more educated demographic, the path to transcendence no longer flows solely through churches or mosques, but through personalized exploration, philosophical inquiry, and inner experience. As material explanations fall short in answering questions of purpose, beauty, and morality, the idea of God as an eternal truth continues to hold subtle yet enduring appeal. These parallel currents, scientific skepticism, and spiritual yearning, reveal that the question of God's existence in American society is no longer framed in binary terms. For many, belief in God is not simply a matter of absolute truth or illusion, but rather a dynamic interplay between existential need and intellectual exploration. Psychologists such as Rollo May emphasize that meaning-making is fundamental to human well-being, and for some, that meaning arises most deeply through faith. Among younger Americans, traditional religion may be waning, yet the hunger for purpose, belonging, and transcendence remains very much alive. They are redefining faith, not necessarily discarding it, but reshaping it outside formal institutions, often merging elements of science, spirituality, and personal philosophy. The future of belief in America appears less about strict dogma and more about individual resonance. Whether belief in God is upheld as an eternal truth or embraced as a psychological necessity, its role in shaping identity, morality, and community cannot be ignored. It continues to evolve, reflecting the complexities of the modern self in search of meaning in an ever-changing world. Thank you for watching this video and joining us on this thoughtful journey. If you found it insightful, please like the video and subscribe to our channel for more content that explores the intersection of belief, science, and society.